Welcome to a new lesson of Adobe Illustrator. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how you can make a mechanical engineer t-shirt design in Adobe Illustrator. You might feel that it might be a bit complex, but it actually is not, okay? Because if you follow the steps and do it a couple of times, you will be able to get how you can make it without facing any problems and facing any hassle. So first things first, you have to keep two things in mind about using the newest version of Adobe AI or Adobe Illustrator and getting familiar with Adobe Illustrator. If you've seen my previous video, you might get a couple of ideas of how you can use Adobe Illustrator. So keep those things in mind and start off by opening up Adobe Illustrator. As you can see that I am using Adobe Illustrator 2023 and this is how the interface will look like. So first things first, what you're going to do is select by starting on your preset, okay? Or start by using your preset. First thing what you're going to do is select on more preset and you will see that an interface like this will appear up. Then start off by adding in the width and the height and selecting if you want points, pixel, picas, inches, feet and inches, yards, millimeter, centimeter, or meter. I most of the time use points because that helps me a bit more and also I'm more familiar by using them. Then select the orientation to be portrait or landscape, whichever one you want. Select the artboards, keep the top bottom line like left and right to be 0. Select the color mode to be CMYK instead of RGB, which you already have here. Then you have the raster effect, keep that to be 300 ppi. Then keep the preview mode to be default, okay? We also have pixel and overprint. So when you are using this to be pixel, then you can use the preview mode to be pixel. But if you want it to be, let's say, picas, inches, feet, then you can use the option or the preview mode to be oversized or overprint, okay? Because that helps you to not face any hassle later on when you're trying to, see it or observe it, okay? After you're done, just click on create and that will be basically it. Now, first off, what you have to do is start off by adding in layers. The advantage of having layers is that when you are adding in content, okay, let's say you're making or starting off by adding in content and you make some problems in it. If you are doing it on a single layer, then you're going to obviously face some problems. Let's say you did a mistake, then you have to do undo or sometimes even erase the whole thing. So if you have different layers, let's say second or the third layer, then you can revert it back to the first layer and then start editing content so that you don't face any problem, okay? And also your work will be saved. So I'm going to click on layers and then add in a layer by clicking on this button. I'm going to drag it right below and select the target by clicking on this O button. And I'm going to click on layers and that will be basically it and you're done with layers. So first things first, what you're going to do is add in a graphic. So as you can see that I have my graphic over here. So what I'm going to do is select on these. Let's say I'm going to select on whichever one I want. Okay. Let's say I'm going to need the whole thing. If you need the whole thing, you can also use it. Okay. Select whichever one you want. And let's say I'm going to from here or here, whichever one you want, you can select them and use them on your screen. So let's say I'm going to copy all of it. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to paste it, Control V, and that will be basically it. So I'm going to, like resize it a bit so that I can actually use it. And if you want to like rotate it, you can also do that. Let's say I'm going to keep it to be something like this. Now, as I have my background to be something like this, what I'm going to do is make it to be full screen. So like from intersect to intersect, and that will be basically it. And if you see the pixels are getting, damaged, then you don't have to use it or you don't have to use that size, okay? But as you see that my pixels are not that damaged, so I'm going to keep using it. So the next thing what I'm going to do is going to be adding in more content, okay? So let's say I'm going to do is add in a couple of the content which I'm going to need. So first things first, I'm going to add in more content. Let's say I don't need this one anymore. So I'm going to add in a bit of content. Okay, if you want to like delete them, you can also select all of them together or like select whichever one you want. Let's say you can select specific ones and delete them. Let's say from here, I'm not going to need this one. So I'm going to like double tap on it, anchor them according to your desire, and then delete them whichever one you want, okay? That is the advantage of having, AI files. So as I'm done, what I'm going to do is going to be adding in text and also content. So I'm going to go to my PC. So what I'm going to do is use this file. Okay, I'm going to group it together. And you might ask, like, where do I get this vector, graphics? You can also like go to website and search for, AI vector graphics, but I'm going to suggest you this website, which is going to be freepik.com, which you can use, royalty free vector graphics and also AI files, which you will be able to use in your Adobe Illustrator projects. Okay, so I'm going to go to Adobe Illustrator. What I'm going to do is just copy this, Control C. I'm going to paste it right over here. I'm going to do this Control V, and you can see that it has been pasted right over here. I'm going to like, increase the size, change the size. And as it is done, what I'm going to do is select on this. I'm going to like keep it over here. I'm going to like align them. Then what I'm going to do is change the size of this. Now, as I'm done with this file, what I'm going to do is add in my text. So I'm going to click on text option. I'm going to click on over here, outside or inside. Then what you can do is type in your, size. Let's say I'm going to type in 400, hit on enter, and you will get your result. Now, let's say I'm going to type in mechanical. Now, let's say I'm going to just type in mechanical, and I'm going to point it out, and I'm going to like keep it right over here. Okay, wherever you need. Now, as I've done with this, what I'm going to do is select it again and change the font. Okay, because it doesn't look that good. So I'm going to change the font to be, let's say I'm going to see through the fonts, which I'm going to need. Let's say I can keep this to be something like this. Now, as I'm done, what I'm going to do is change those fonts to be, let's say, mechanical. Now, if you see that those are not aligned, I'm going to select on the pointer tool again. I'm going to like keep them to be aligned. If you want to add more, filter, like, whichever type of content you want to make, you can also add those. So let's say I'm going to keep it to be red or white. Let's say I'm going to keep it to be white, and I'm going to keep the stroke to be, let's say, 20. I'm going to type on over here. Let's say I'm going to keep it 20, hit on enter, and you can see that I can see all of my content right now. And I'm going to add in another text. Let's say I'm going to keep it over here. I'm going to delete it, engineer. Now, as I'm done, what I'm going to do is select all of this content. Select it. I'm going to do is select the stroke to be white. I'm going to do is keep it to be 20. Same as that one. I'm going to hit it 20, and that will be basically it. I'm going to select on this pointer tool. I'm going to drag it right over here, and that will be basically it on how you'll be able to make it. Now, next thing is going to be if you want to add more content or, do something, you can like turn them into outlines. Let's say Control Shift O, and as all of them will turn into, so I'm going to keep it to be like this. Now you can add in more content. Let's say if you want it to be different, you can like change them. If you want like different opacity, you can do that. You can recolor. You can also change the color of however you want it to be. Okay, let's say I want it to be like yellow. I'm going to select on this tool first, or select on the content first, and then select on the color, and you will see that they will change according to your desire. And that is basically it. And if you want to add more content or do more changes to your content, you can do that. But I'm gonna suggest you to keep it to be subtle and also normal and beginner friendly. If you want to add in gradient, you can also do that. What you have to do is select on this content. Okay, let's say this one. Okay, what I'm going to do is change it to be over here and select the gradient. Let's say now if I want it to be like this, I can keep it to be something like this. But if I don't want it to be something like this, then you can change it according to your desire. Let's say I'm going to double click on it again. Now I'm going to do is keep it to be over here. Now as I'm done, I can double click on it again wherever I want, and then I can like drag it. Okay, so that is going to be totally up to you. But if you don't want it, you also have the feature of Control Z to undo your process or your progress where you made a mistake. So hope you guys like understood everything in this lesson. And if you want to add more, you have a lot of these tools. Let's say if you want to add in, let's say I'm going to select on this. I'm going to select on this text tool. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to use this tool of crystallize, but if you want like warp tool, twirl tools, you can also do that. Let's say I'm going to use some twirl tool. So I'm going to click on this. If you want outline, so I'm going to click on this. Okay. I'm going to select on this tool first, or select on this text first. All of them. Now as I'm done, what I'm going to do is just double click on it and the whole file will be selected. I'm going to double click on it again. Now you can see Control Z. Now I'm going to do is Control Shift O, and all of them has turned into, what I'm going to do is just change it. Let's say I'm going to find the tool, which is going to be Mesh Tool, Twirl Tool, whichever one I want, then I can add it, okay? If you want to add in more content like this, you can also do that and see the result later on. But if you don't want that, you can just select on it and then just do Control Z, okay? And you will see different type of formats will be added. You have a lot of these tools to, edit it according to your desire. And after you're done, what you're going to do is just group them all together. So I'm going to do is keep it over here. I'm going to do select all of it. I'm going to use Control G to group all of them together. And now as all of them are grouped, you can see when I select on it, all of the file will be selected all together. Now you can like paste it or copy it wherever you want. And then the next thing what you have to do is just take it to where you want it. So that will be basically it on how you will be able to make a mechanical engineer t-shirt design on Adobe Illustrator. But if you meet some problems, obviously you have the tool of Control Z to undo your progress. So thank you for watching this video and also staying with us.